Guys, here you see, in case you don't know who this is, George Floyd is to the left and Derek Chauvin is to the right. Derek Chauvin's trial started today. During the time that this happened, this video went viral of him kneeling down on George Floyd's neck, allegedly. You have to say allegedly, or people want to sue you, even though there's a video out there showing him doing just that. There were protests all over the world. Even right here in Memphis, Tennessee, people were protesting. They were protesting the mistreatment of police officers against people in custody, specifically black people in custody. Derek Chauvin allegedly put his knee on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 26 seconds. Even when passers-by asked him to let him up. One of the people who was videotaping this happened to be a firefighter, and she wanted to give George Floyd some aid, and she was met by Derek Chauvin pointing a can of pepper spray at her face. George Floyd was already handcuffed, and he was being held face down on the pavement by 3 officers. One of them happened to be Derek Chauvin, who allegedly had his knee on George Floyd's neck. Even when George Floyd kept screaming that he couldn't breathe, and he tried to lift one shoulder up so he could get some breath. Allegedly, Derek Chauvin pressed even harder into his neck until he stopped breathing. Well, this George Floyd even cried out for his mother, whom we have since learned was deceased. Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd was intentional, but I can't understand why he is being charged with murder in the second degree. And he is also being charged with second-degree manslaughter and murder in the third degree. He caused the death of George Floyd, whether it was intentional or not intentional. The prosecution is being led by State Attorney General Keith Ellison. I'm sure glad it's not being held by Daniel J. Cameron. Ellison is an African American, and he's also a Muslim. Do you think the George Floyd family will get justice? The trial just started today, but do you think that they will get justice for George Floyd's murder? We all have to hope and pray, because those protests lasted about 2 weeks. Nobody wants to go through that again. We need justice for this young man's murder, who was accused of having a fake $20 bill, which turned out not to be a fake $20 bill. It was real. So what he did was, what this man allegedly did to George Floyd was, it was intentional. And it was without cause. He was already handcuffed and laying on the ground. Why did you have to put your knee in his neck? Why did you have to take his life for a $20 bill? I'm quite sure somebody on that scene would have gave you $20. Why did you have to do it? Why did you have to take him away from his family? Okay, guys, y'all stay healthy and stay blessed. And this is just my reaction to the beginning of Derek Chauvin's trial. We hope that George Floyd will get justice. Rest in peace, rest in eternal peace, Mr. George Floyd. All right, guys, I'm out.